Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Global Happenings today. Today, some hours ago, a lot of things happened in southeastern states, from Imo to Anambra to Enugu. In fact, cut across most southeastern states, there was a lot of tension. Sit-at-home order that was hitherto been observed in 2021 seemed to have been reinforced. Some persons were caught up in the whole Bohaha. But as we speak right now, we're going to give you a cross-section of what happened in some of the states, how the people reacted, what took place, and of course, it looks as if also one of Biafran's own, who also deputized in his days, have decided to warn the Nigerian Presidency 2023 whole saga and the implication of Biafra agitation if Igbos take the day. Before we go into the newspaper, I'd like you to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Let us start with what happened at Onitsha Bridge, where hundreds of people who tried to beat the Monday sit-at-home and decided to pass the Anambra end of the Niger Bridge on Sunday became trapped and ended up spending the night between Onitsha and Asaba in Delta State. Although the cause of what was considered the worst traffic gridlock on the bridge head was attributed to multiple checkpoints by security operatives on the foot of the bridge, yesterday's chaos was due to the decision of most people who were billed to be in their offices by Monday morning to leave for their destinations on Sunday. For instance, many vehicles that left with their passengers from Enugu, Aba, Owerri, Abakaliki, Onitsha, and other parts of Southeast spent several hours on the bridge as commuters stood still on both sides of Onitsha and Asaba. A staff in one of the federal establishments in Lagos, Mr. Kene Obi, who boarded God is Good motors at Oka and hoping to be in Lagos later in the day to get ready for work on Monday, said he arrived Lagos in the early hours of Monday. We left the motor park at Oka at 7 o'clock and by 8 a.m. we were already at the head bridge, only to remain there till 8 p.m. From 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. only on head bridge. I have never experienced such traffic in my whole life. The fear of Monday sit-at-home was the cause of the problem because most people were on the road at the same time so as to be away from Anambra State before Monday. Yesterday in Anambra State, however, normal commercial activity took place as most markets and shopping malls were open. Transporters were on the road, although transport fares were yet to come down. At the state secretariat, many workers reported for duty and the banks were also open. Schools reopened and some of them even conducted tests for the pupils despite the fact that it was the first day of the school in 2022. In another news, that's in Okigwe, Orlu Okigwe area, the sit-at-home order of the indigenous people of Biafra Ipob is still effective in Orlu Okigwe local government area. You come out before you know it, somebody will come beat you up or destroy your property. If you eventually come out, just be prepared to run in case you hear anything in the air. In Orlu now, it is a terrible place to live. One day, one trouble. You hear bringing down, the other time you hear people making so much noise in the air. It is not as if it cannot come out. It's not as if I cannot come out or anything. But the truth is anything can happen. I will run, but what of my wife and my kids? Orlu is hot too. A resident, Mr. Chibike, explained. For us, the bus driver, driving from Owerri to Okigwe is possible, but consider it that you are taking a very big risk. It can result in your death or vehicle being burnt to ashes, except if you have enough security to protect yourself. However, the story is different in Owerri metropolis as the movement of goods and services continued unhindered, but residents still live in fear. Some of them were of the view that the insecurity is not completely over. These boys can strike at any time. We just have to open our eyes and be careful to avoid being caught in the tragedy. In another news, this one is the most interesting part. UGM, the former deputy leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob, has said a Nigerian president of Igbo extraction will not stop agitation for Biafra. Mefo said a Nigerian president of Igbo extraction would instead further intensify the agitation for Biafra. The former Ipob deputy leader made the remark on his verified page. Mefo post reads partly. This is very unlikely. An Igbo president of Nigeria will, if even intensify the agitation for restoration of Biafra. Biafrans must concentrate on the Biafran territorial politics with a view of controlling the political space in Biafra land. Nigeria is an ideal candidate would be completing the circle of status of an ideal contender, highly unlikely to be subjected to remedial secession if she mishandles the Igbo bid for presidency and denies or skins them out. Lately, Igbo political stakeholders have been agitating that the Southeast be allowed to produce Nigeria's next president. This is quite interesting. You have heard what UGM is saying, while others are insisting that Southeast should be given presidency so that the issue of agitation and marginalization feeling will be abated, and hence there will be true healing and recovery and reintegration of the Igbos truly and genuinely into the society. But UGM have a contrary opinion totally. He's of the opinion that if Igbo man mounts that seat, then definitely before his tenure goes off, his people will mount more pressure that Biafra should be actualized. So he's having a totally different opinion. And of course, in the issue sit at home order, the fear and the tension, of people they don't want to be caught, because this is 2022, being caught on the road where sit at home order may or may not be effective, cause the gridlock that happened in Onitsha Bridge. Can you imagine somebody who was actually traveling, he came to Southeast for Utah for Christmas holiday, only for him to have decided to move out since Sunday morning as early as 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. They were on the road on the bridge, 8 o'clock in the morning. They finally got to the other side of the bridge, Asaba. I don't think if you're conversant with that area from Onitsha end, from Anambra end of the bridge to Asaba, that's the delta end of delta end of the bridge. I don't think it's up to 200 or 300 meters, as in it's something, well, you can drive for long, but it's not something that you spend 10 hours, 16 hours. That's too much. Fear, nobody wants to leave, and also the fact that our security personnel were doubly checking. They wanted to be sure that this BGN, that's Biafra National League, does not pass through and bring in equipment or instruments that will heighten up the polity or increase tensions and insecurity in the state. So hence, they are very meticulous in searching. They will search everywhere before they let you go. So one person or one vehicle takes a long time, hence that, very terrible gridlock. But going forward, something has to give. They need to either find a way around this, because people cannot be sleeping on the bridge every day. That's what we're going to wrap it up. Let's put in the comment section what's your take, especially what is happening in Okigwe, Orlu, the Niger Bridge of Niger River, and of course what UGM is talking about when it comes to Biafra actualization and